Week 6 of the fantasy and NFL season is almost in the books. We got 2 more Monday night games tonight, a doubleheader. But what are the fantasy implications from the Sunday games? We're talking about that in today's video. Not a whole lot of big names and big implications here. Probably the biggest name, I mean, and he's been on this kind of series of videos that we've been making for a while, but it's Kenneth Walker. Man, just a huge disappointment. Like it's a huge 2-man rotation for these guys. And Charbonnet's kind of dominating in the snaps. 33 snaps for Charbonnet to 19 for Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, his only work that he really has is the early down stuff. He has barely more early down work than Zach Charbonnet, but Charbonnet gets the goal line, the 2-minute drill, most of the third down stuff. It's just it's not great for either one of these guys. Like Charbonnet is getting the value touches, which is great. And generally what you want, but he's not being very good with them. I mean, he's averaging 2.6 yards per attempt to start the season, so he's not doing much with his carries, only 1 catch, no touchdowns. It's just from a backfield that we thought was going to be pretty damn good this year, whether it was Walker, Charbonnet, or both these guys are huge disappointments, unfortunately. I hope we see more Kenneth Walker. He's just more efficient than Charbonnet. His yards per attempt is at 4.7 behind the same offensive line. He's averaging 7.6 yards per reception. Both of those are better than Zach Charbonnet, but I don't know. The team doesn't seem to like him enough to trust him to be the main guy. I don't really know what it is. Both these guys are kind of unstartable. If you had to start a Seattle Seahawks guy, it is Charbonnet because he's getting the more valuable touches, but I want to avoid both these guys. Isaiah Pacheco, not a great stat line, not a great fantasy score for Isaiah Pacheco. 12 carries, 51 yards. He did have 3 targets, only caught 1 of them for no yards. But we are seeing the usage for Pacheco go up, which is intriguing and encouraging to see. He had his highest snap share percentage of the season at 76.6%. That's his highest by far of the season. And we're seeing it go up. The last 2 weeks, it's gone up from 37 in week 4 to 62.5 in week 5, now 76.6 in week 6. So will the good fantasy games come? I hope so. Now they have had a tough season, the Chiefs, in terms of fantasy running backs and things like that. But they kind of get some good matchups for the rest of the year. But it's encouraging to see that Pacheco's getting the majority of the early down goal line stuff. Third down, you're still going to get Brashard Smith or Kareem Hunt. But if Isaiah Pacheco can get the goal line stuff, then we might have a starting running back here potentially. Travion Henderson, we thought, okay, here we go. We're going to see Antonio Gibson out for the year. It's going to be Travion Henderson season, right? Hold your horses because it's not quite Travion Henderson season. Will it ever be Travion Henderson season this year? I have no idea. But basically what we saw was that in kind of a close game, I mean, the Saints basically held it. They stuck around in that game. So heading into the fourth quarter of that game, it was 25-16. So Saints were down by 9. So definitely within reach. So it was a close game. And we saw Travion Henderson, although we saw no Antonio Gibson in this game, have his lowest snap percentage of the season, 29.7%. His first time and lowest of the season, his first time under 30%. And so he's another guy. Like, how do you, I mean, obviously not starting this guy. How do you hold on to him? I mean, you're holding on to him because you're hoping, but if you need roster spots, I don't blame you if you cut Travion Henderson. It's not out there. It's totally understandable to do that. So it sucks to see for Travion Henderson. We thought maybe finally this was going to be it, but it wasn't. It was not. So moving on to Kamani Vidal. What we learned this week is to kind of ignore what coaches said. We had 2 reports of Hassan Haskins is going to get the majority of the work, and Bam Knight's going to start over Michael Carter. Both those guys, Kamani Vidal and Michael Carter, are on this list. Kamani Vidal had a great game. 18 carries, 124 yards, 4 catches, 3 targets, 14 yards, and a touchdown. He dominated, and now he was playing the Dolphins, so keep that in mind, but he dominated this snap share at almost 70%. Now the team does like Hassan Haskins, but maybe they realize that Kamani Vidal is their guy. And if the Chargers don't trade for anyone, you could be getting Kamani Vidal for the rest of the fantasy regular season. Sounds like Amarion Hampton's injury is a little bit more serious than just a 4-week IR stint. And so, if you took the chance on Kamani Vidal, which a lot of people I noticed got him for pretty cheap in our leagues, then congratulations, because I think you have now. I don't expect him to be this good just because he was playing the Dolphins. So you got to keep that in mind. But I liked Vidal coming out of college. He had a fun tape. He had some intriguing underlying statistics and analytics and stuff like that. So kind of excited to see where this takes Kamani Vidal. Another Charger, Rondé Gadsden II. This was one of the first weeks, besides week one, where the Chargers were at full strength at tight end. Will Disley returned. They had Tyler Conklin. And now Rondé Gadsden seems to be the guy that is emerging as the number one tight end for this team. Even with Disley and Conklin healthy, Gadsden hit 75% of the snap share. He had 7 targets, 5 catches for 46 yards. This is the second heavy targeted game for Gadsden. He's a receiving tight end. So this is I think this is something for Gadsden. I think this could be something. We need to obviously see some more consistency. We can't go 2 weeks where he gives you 1 for 14 and 2 for 16, because then you're going to kind of be out on him again, and you're always going to be chasing, last week's performance and stuff like that. But we're getting a more consistent role for Gadsden, which is what makes it intriguing. I was skeptical when he put up a 7-target game because he played in 22 snaps. This week he played in 47 snaps and just under 75% of the snaps. If he does that, then you're going to potentially get a guy who's a low-end tight end one each week on a good offense, and on an offense that kind of needs weapons, if Quentin Johnston's going to miss some time. Jordan Whittington, I think, is the wide receiver to go out and get if Puka Nacua is going to be out. Tutu Atwell was also out in this game, so keep that in mind if Tutu Atwell comes back. It kind of, muddies the waters maybe a little bit, but Whittington was already kind of the wide receiver 3 for the Rams. He was already playing a decent amount, Jordan Whittington was. Over the last 3 weeks, Jordan Whittington, 2 of the last 3 weeks, 80 and over 80% of the snaps, which is great for him. Now with Puka out, you could see, Devontae Smith obviously be awesome, but Whittington could really step up and play more of that Puka Nacua role. We're going to see. We're going to see if that's the case or not. So it's good to see. Jordan Whittington, a guy that we loved on this channel. Hopefully he gets a little bit of a run. Hopefully he gets some play here. I think he's the guy to go out and pick up. Again, if Tutu Atwell's there, maybe that muddies the waters a bit. Xavier Smith, Konata, Mumfield is there as well. But I like Whittington to kind of pick up for some of the production of no Puka Nacua for at least a week, most likely. Michael Carter, again, don't listen to pregame reports, I guess is what we're learning about. They came out and said that that Bam Knight is going to be dominating the backfield or the drives and it was the Adam Schefter report that Bam Knight would start ahead of Michael Carter, and people were scrambling, taking Carter out of their lineups, right? And that just wasn't true. Carter literally played every snap on the first drive. So I don't know what that report, where it came from, why it was even a thing. It was obviously not true. Michael Carter, he did play less than what he played last week. Michael Carter did. Last week he played in 57.4% of the snaps. This week, 43.8. But I don't know. I mean, this Cardinals backfield is basically just like in a void at this point. If they're going to be splitting between Bam Knight and Michael Carter, then it's just really just kind of in a void at this point. Tajay Spears, second game back from his injury. And unfortunately for us Pollard fans, it seems like Pollard is kind of unstartable at this point because Tajay Spears played in almost 60% of the snaps. Pollard became kind of an afterthought to a certain extent. That being said, Tony Pollard still got some touches and things like that. But, if you're not playing a majority and you're on a bad offense, he's the definition of a trap back, Pollard is. So Spears, I would also avoid. I would definitely pick him up, but I would avoid trying to start him at all. Spears is at least going to get probably more catches. He had 4 this week, but both these guys are another avoid. And just wanted to point this out that and show that Spears was playing in 60% of the snaps. So, Tony Pollard, it sucks when he was dominating the backfield. He had some tough matchups, but yeah, it is really, really tough there. Really tough to see. Cameron Johnson is the last guy we're talking about here. We could be without Emeka Ibuka, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans this coming week. Hopefully Evans is coming back soon. Hopefully Godwin can come back. Hopefully Ibuka doesn't have a serious injury, but it kind of sounds like it might be a serious thing. And so, which Johnson do you take advantage of? Tez Johnson, Cameron Johnson? I don't really know. It was Cameron Johnson that kind of took over Ibuka's role. So keep that in mind. Ted Johnson is intriguing because he's a young player and a lot of hype. He had a lot of hype in college, but Cameron Johnson did kind of take over Ibuka's role to a certain extent. So I don't know. I think both these guys are worth picking up, as well as like a Kate Otten. But man, it's going to be hard to trust one of these guys. So that's all I have for you today, guys. A shorter video, but appreciate everyone. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys all in the next video.